Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Robin. I have another vlog for y'all. And it's fun because I had another friend choose my TBR. This month we had Jashana choose it. And let me tell you something. Jashana can sell me on any book. If she's hype about a book, I'm hype about a book. And then I'm gonna get it. Now, will I like that book? It's 50-50. But am I gonna be hype about it before I read it? Absolutely. These are the prompts that I gave Jashana because you guys know that I need to give the prompts because control. I asked her to pick a book that she would put on a 4.5 or 5-star recommendation for her. Jashana is not super liberal about giving out 5 stars. So I feel like if she would put this on a 5-star prediction list, then it had to sound really interesting to her, right? For the book that she would put on a 5-star predictions video, she chose The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. Now, I did not realize that this was the beginning of like a series with at least 5 or 6 books in it. So fun for me. So this is about 2 people, I think, that are part of an organization where they seek out books in alternative universes, but they're on the hunt for this one particular book, but by the time they go to find this book, it has disappeared. And so now they must search for it. And that was enough to hook me. But I also do not have the greatest history with like books about libraries. And if I swear, if I read this book and there's not a library or a book to be talked about, I'm gonna be mad about it. Then I asked her to pick a book that it seems like everyone else has read but her. For that, she chose Beach Read by Emily Henry. I've never read an Emily Henry. And it was so interesting because I just had a conversation with some friends and they suggested that I would perhaps like Beach Read over her other ones. So I feel like this is perfect timing. We are gonna give it a little whirl, see if it's my jam or not. I don't remember what this is about. Two writers are like, they switch genres because they're competing and something. Yes, that's as much as I've got for you guys. And you know, honestly, that's more than I've given you about a lot of other books. So, and then I asked her to pick a classic for me. I don't often read a lot of classics, but I have classics and I'm always like, oh, I want to. But she chose Their Eyes Are Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. And I am ashamed to say I actually don't know what this is about. I feel like I was supposed to read this in high school and I did not. Or maybe other people were reading this and I just didn't. I don't know. Either way, I don't really remember what it's about. And I'm actually really excited to read this, especially it being a Black classic. And last but not least, she got to choose a book, any book. I don't know if I set myself up for this. I don't think I did. Maybe I did. I probably set myself up, 1, for putting this on my wish list, and then 2, asking Jashana to just pick any book. But it is Walhalla. She bought this for me for Christmas. It was on my wish list and she bought it for me because it sounded interesting. But then I started hearing people talk about it. Jashana, not a fan of this. I don't think some other people, I know that Vina was not a fan of this. So I don't know where I'm gonna land on this. I'm actually not really sure what this is about. I think there are like 3 women. They come together to talk about things. Your guess is probably better than mine. And so I will be reading this to find out what it is and if I'm going to like it. I feel like there's a chance that I could like it because it's so unpopular amongst my friends that I'm probably going to be the one that's like, yeah, this is the book for me. So those are the books that Jashana chose for me to read in May, and I'm really excited about it. And it was perfect timing because I'm actually doing sprints with Ray and I can dig into one of these books. I think I'm gonna start with Beach Read. Do I have a reason for it? No, but that's where we're gonna go. Beach Read. Maybe I'll save Walhalla to the end because if I don't like it, then you know, it's like I ran out of time.
Hello, Robin. How's Beach Read?
Okay, so I'm liking it.
Wow.
I'm only 2 chapters in. There's a lot of time to be disappointed.
Very true. Very true.
Beach Read is what you're reading?
Renee, I feel like you have a thought.
Oh, no. I feel like that fits for what I know about your reading taste. I would expect you to like Beach Read.
You and Jess did say that I would like Beach Read. I'm liking it. I'm only 64 pages in, so there's still opportunity for me to hate it.
True. Monet, have you read it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you like it?
No. I like people we meet on vacation.
Yeah, that sounds like you didn't like it that much to continue.
I didn't like the fact that we were stuck at a school. I just feel like a training sequence, or like, you know, when they go to school and they learn how to be a badass and to be a killer of all men and, you know, she who has no name. I just feel like there's a limit to how long that should last.
Okay, so we're out of the school, and if you still don't like it, will you quit?
No, because I already own the whole series. I'm not a quitter.
Sell it. Put it in a little library if you want to be benevolent. Let it go.
I don't know, Monet. I think maybe we should
I feel like
consider.
y'all should be supporting me or like encouraging me to read it, because I already spent my money. I already bought all the books.
Sell it. Get.
But here's the thing: you'll still have spent your money whether you read it or not. And if you quit, at least you'll have more time to read new things.
We'll see.
My girl, my still.
Monet, she is dedicated.
She is dedicated.
She's even dedicated to a bad time. And
I've since stopped buying full series that I haven't read, but from the series when I was doing that, I'm finishing them to teach myself a lesson. Not doing it.
If you say so. No, mushrooms are disgusting.
yeah,
I think you should see a therapist. So why you think gluttony and punishment is the way to go?
Me?
Why you want to punish yourself? Release yourself of that shackle.
I am getting my money's worth.
I'm about 100 pages in. I think that's a little over 25%. And I have to say, so far, I am enjoying this. I am enjoying January's journey through processing her grief about her father and the things that happened. Her father had an affair, and she found out about it at the same time, or like a little after she finds out that her father has passed away. And so she's at this beach house that her father was living with the other woman at. And so that's interesting to process. I really don't care about the relationship between January and Gus, if I'm going to be 1,000% honest. Like, it's cool. I'm glad it's there. And of course it has to be there. It's a romance. But I am more interested in the other aspects of this. I'm not sure how deep we're going to delve into those things. I hope we get a little bit more insight into it, because I think it's just really interesting. But yeah. And then as far as Gus, he's not super interesting. He's like this brooding, grumpy kind of guy who doesn't believe that happily ever afters are a thing, and like, you know, why be in love? So that's what Gus is doing. That's where we are. They just started this challenge where they decided to switch genres, and they're like in their first week of trying to write like each other. You don't really get a whole lot from Gus's perspective. Everything is from January's perspective, and that's really okay with me. I don't have a whole lot to do today. I think it's going to be a pretty chill, pretty quiet day. So I think I'm going to read a lot of this today. I will update later. Hello. I'm here. I'm caffeinated. I have updates. What is today? Today is May 4th. I just got back from Target where I spent way too much money because I went in with a plan, and did it matter? No, because it never matters when you go into Target with a plan. Something just happens. You get in there and Target, something in the air like smells your money and says, haha, we're going to take more of it. So I finished reading Beach Read yesterday. I think it took me like almost exactly 48 hours to read this book, which is quite different for me because I don't typically read books this fast. Even if I listen to them on audiobook, I probably don't listen to them this fast, but this one, it was for me. And I just noticed, I realized maybe yesterday or the day before that Jashana had picked books for me that were all under 400 pages. And I love that. Thank you, Jashana, because I'm not sure about Wahala, but I think that is under 400 pages. But I love some short books. I love short books so much. And romances should definitely be short. Anyway, Beach Read. I ended up giving this 4 stars. There was a moment that I was like, maybe 3.5. In the middle, my interest was starting to wane, but we brought it back on home to a 4 star. You know, we all come to books with our own experiences, with our own feelings and backgrounds or whatever. And I think that what did it for me was just January going through just all of the emotions that she was having about losing her dad, breaking up with her boyfriend prior to meeting Gus, and just the way that she approached relationships in life. The relationship, the love fest happening between Gus and I was about to say Emily. That's the author. Gus in January. It was cute. I enjoyed their banter. I don't know that it was so much like, you know how like rom-com things happen and it's funny? I think that these were just 2 people that happened to be very funny, and so their conversations were funny. It reminded me of conversations that I would just have. And then I thought, is this why people don't know when I'm flirting? Because it just sounds like I'm being mean? So yeah, January and Gus, their relationship was cute. It didn't mean a whole lot to me until the end, when I thought like where Gus was coming around to thinking that love is a thing that could happen for him, and January realizing what love should or shouldn't look like based on the fact that in the beginning of the book she has this idea that love looks a certain way based on her parents' relationship, which she finds out was a sham. It wasn't really a sham, was it? Her whole idea of what love is supposed to look like is shattered. She had this idea that her parents had the most ideal marriage, even though they had hardships and tribulations, that they worked through it together because they were just so in love. And then she finds out that her dad cheated on her mom at some point, and it's just like, well, how can I trust any man if my dad, the shining example of a loving husband and father, cheated on my mother? And I think she had to come to terms with like, sometimes people do things and it's terrible, yes, but like that doesn't negate how you feel about them. You just shouldn't romanticize your life or things in your life or people in your life. Also, at the end of the book, I cried. Stephanie, Ray, and Jess, I cried. And this should be surprising to all of you because I am not a crier. My heart, it's cold. It's very close to dead. But this got me. You know, again, if a book has something to do with grief, it's gonna get me. And the fact that it was my dad's birthday last week, and did it hit me? Did like grief things hit me last week? No. But this week, you know, grief is weird. It'll hit you when it hits you. So I just was like, oh, you know, I get it. She was working through some things, and I was glad that she worked through those things. Now, there are darker themes in this, and I had read them, but I just thought that we were going to talk about the death of her father, but there are some other darker topics in here. Cancer and infidelity, abuse, not all with the same people. And so all that being said, I really, really enjoyed this. I did not think that I was going to like it this much. I don't know. I just had a preconceived notion that Emily Henry was not for me. She was going to give me basic white romance, and was it that? A little bit, sure. But was there something a little bit more to it that I probably related to for other reasons? Yes. I enjoyed it. 4 stars. I will definitely be giving other Emily Henry books a try. I know she has People We Meet on Vacation, and what's that the third book that she just has? Happy People, Happy Places, Happy something. So I think I will give those a try as well. I know that people are either in like the beach read camp or the People We Meet on Vacation camp. So I'm interested to see that if I really liked beach read, will I also like People We Meet on Vacation? And then I started on audio, but I'm doing a blended read of The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. So this is about Irene, and she is a part of a society called the Library. And what the library does is they go to different realities to obtain very rare books that are not in all of the realities. So like, I don't know, if beach read existed in all of the realities, it's not unique, it's not interesting. But if beach read only existed in like one reality, then they would go and retrieve it for whatever reason, whether it has something to do with languages or it could change the course of history or something. So I'm about a third of the way into this, and I realized I needed to do a blended read because the beginning is so heavy on teaching you about this particular world of universes that I realized I needed to read some things and process it with my eyes and not just my ears, because I would be doing something and miss something completely and be like, I don't understand how we got here. But anyways, Irene, she has just come back from a mission. She is sent on a new mission with a trainee that she needs to train. The thing is, something seems a little off about her trainee Kai, and she can't quite put her finger on what it is, but they're going on this new mission to try to retrieve a book that is in this alternate London. So they get there, and once they're there, they realize that the book that they are trying to get to has already been stolen. Look, I think it's Grimm's Fairy, a version of Grimm's Fairy Tales that they're trying to get. And that's where I am right now. They have encountered a couple of obstacles so far, trying to fit into the new reality that they're in. Irene is trying to figure out why Kai is a little weird. Now, I also want to know what Kai's secret is. Like, sir, I feel like you know things. And now there is this new big bad that's trying to get a hold of this particular book. And I think that the new big bad knows that Irene and Kai, or at least Irene, is a librarian and that they are trying to retrieve this book. Also, in all of the realities, there are like these different levels of magic. Some have like magic, some have technology, some have magic and tech, some are just like regular places. So trying to figure out the rules that exist in these places that have magic and like what people can or can't do is also a little confusing, and that's why I have to go and read it with my eyes, because I just need to have a better understanding of what's happening. But that's where we are with that. I am enjoying it so far. I think I'm having a good time, because I don't know how much reading I'm going to get done this weekend. It's my best friend's birthday on Saturday, and so basically, are we marathoning this weekend with activities and things? A little bit not. So I think I'll have some time to do some reading, some downtime to just chill and not be like with people. You know what I mean. Welcome back to my car. I am on my way to brunch with my best friend. It's her birthday weekend, but I thought I would give you guys a little bit of an update on my reading. So I'm about halfway into The Invisible Library, and I'm having a very good time. So there was like something that I read last night about somebody's skin suit being found, and like this guy was alive and then somebody killed him and took his skin and was like preserving it in a jar of vinegar. Like, I don't know what's happening, but I like it. And then just the secrets between Irene and Kai. I feel like Irene doesn't have any secrets, but Kai is keeping some kind of secret about his identity. And I want to know what this secret is. And I don't know if we're going to find out in this book or if like we're going to find out, you know, later on in the series, but I need to know for sure. And then this morning I started listening to Wahala, and I'm seriously only 5% in. And so far, I can't tell if we're following multiple people or if we're just gonna follow like one person who's telling other people's stories. But so far, like 3 women have met up for brunch or lunch, and it kind of sounds like they all kind of just hate their lives. Nobody is having a good time, which I mean, relatable. They're not enjoying their spouses, not even their spouses, but like, or their partners are trash. They feel disrespected in some way. And I don't know exactly where we're going. I will say that the first, like the prologue maybe, was really interesting. It sounded like one of the women needed help. Something had happened to her and she like called somebody and was like, I need your help. And it sounds like that person is going to be on their way to help. I don't know if that's going to be super significant to the plot, but interested nonetheless in the plot. Not so much the characters. They seem a little insufferable, if I'm being honest. They have a right to like kind of hate their lives at the moment because it kind of sounds like shit. But if it's gonna just be a book about miserable women the entire time, I don't know if I want to read that. I am already a few pages in, and I could see why Jashana was like, no, I hate it.
Should open our minds to be like, wait a minute, like awesome wine can come from all over, from places that we've never heard of, from grapes we've never heard of. So here we are in the mid-Atlantic of the US. It's not really a well-known wine region. So there's certain grapes that do well, there's certain grapes that don't do well in this region. This region is about 30 to 40 years old in terms of like the winemaking tradition.
In the car after an eventful weekend. Blair and I are on our way to Target again to get some more things. In my defense, it's my Mother's Day gift for my mom, so does it really count? I mean, I did buy things for myself, but I also got her a gift. Anyway, I'm not here to justify my Target purchases. I am here with an update, and boy, do I have an update, because I have finished reading Wahala, and I am about 70% of the way into the library. I guess I'll start with the library. Irene and Kai, they are still trying to figure out what happened to the stolen book that they're searching for. And one of Irene's colleagues has entered the picture, and I'm just like, what does she have to do with this stolen book? I'm having a really, really good time. We had a skin suit show up. Now I'm wondering, like, did somebody murder him before they got there or after? And they were using his skin suit as a disguise? I don't know. Is that possible? The world is full of possibilities here. We start to figure out some of the secrets that Kai has, and I think that that's very interesting, and I think that that'll come into play in some of the later books. There's this detective. He is trying to help Irene and Kai find this book because I think he actually wants it for himself, but he's saying that he's going to help them. But the detective, his name is Vale. Anytime he's on a page, I just hear Benoit Blanc's voice in my head. He's the detective from Glass Onion. What was the first one? Knives Out. And that's all I can hear in my head is Benoit Blanc's voice. Even though they're supposed to be in an alternate London, why he would sound like a Southern detective dude, I don't know, but that's what I hear, and I like it. I hope that he sticks around for more books and he's not just here for this one. Also, we've come across some mechanical murderous alligators. I would like to tell you more about it, but I don't want to give anything away if you decide to read it. I don't know that this would be a 5-star for me. I might be like just as stingy with stars as Jashana is, because this is not feeling like a 5-star, but like a 4.25. I'm having such a good time. And then Wahala indeed. And before I start, I gave this like 2.25. But Wahala, we're following 3 women. They're a group of friends, and they've been friends since university. What happens is they're all unhappy with their lives in some way. You have Ronke, who is dating this guy who clearly does not want to be endgame with her, but she's trying so hard to make fetch happen, and she just only sees him as like the good guy, or maybe not even a good guy, but like the best prospect for her. And then you have Boo. She's just completely unsatisfied with her whole life. She hates her husband, she hates her kid, she hates the little family life that they've got going on, and so she starts to romanticize a life with not necessarily a life, but like starting a relationship before being a relationship. And then you have Simi. Simi is married to this guy, and they have what she thinks is the perfect relationship, and she does not want that to change. However, her husband really wants them to start a family, and you know that was their plan from the beginning. Except that now Simi is like, I don't think that I want kids. Now, Simi has this old childhood friend, Isabel, and Isabel just pops up from nowhere. She is this very rich, sophisticated, posh woman who infiltrates the friend group because she wants to be close to all of the women. And you can tell that something's off with Isabel because she's just trying so hard to be close with them, know all of their secrets, and get them to think of her as their number one. As the reader, you are seeing all of these things unfold, all of these cracks within the friend group start to like really grow. They start to have problems with each other, and resentment in the friend group like shows up. And what really pisses me off is that Ronge is the first person to be weary of Isabel. And you would think that even after she's like, you know what, Isabel isn't so bad, but like there are things that happen, and you know that Isabel is the culprit. She's the one that's creating all of this drama within the group. And yet they all still decide to be mad at each other. Everyone has their secrets. Everyone is trying to just keep their lives together and keep it from imploding. But yet they keep making the dumbest mistakes and sharing the worst information. The ending really blew me. It blew me so hard because I was just like, what is this bullshit? Like, we're not going to get any kind of satisfying ending after all the bullshit that the author put me through. There was just such a large amount of colorism that I'm not sure what the point was. Like, they were all half Nigerian and they all have these weird relationships with Nigerian men and their thoughts about Nigerian men. And the women themselves are just miserable. Because they're miserable, everybody else in their lives needs to be miserable and can't be celebrated, or if not, they're jealous in some way. Like, Isabel is the catalyst that came and splintered the group, but they were already having friend issues before Isabel even showed up. The ending blew me, just the women blew me, everything was two stars. Blair also, do you agree? He doesn't know, he can't read. Anyway, that's my update. And then the only book I have left is Their Eyes Were Watching God. Yeah, so I will catch you on the next update. Well, it's been a few days, hasn't it? The biggest update is that we are just now reaching the midway point of May. I can't believe we're already in May, but we're just now reaching the midway point of May. And I finished My TBR set by Jashana. Their Eyes Were Watching God was such a fast read. Am I just now updating this? Yes, but that's not the point. The point is that I finished it super quickly. But before we get into this update, I got a package. Now, I'm pretty sure I know what it is because I don't recall buying anything else. But that does not mean that I did not buy anything. Because sometimes, at night and you're just wandering, your mind is wandering, and you buy like 7 books. That happens to all of us, right? It's not just me. Cool. But I got Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I don't know shit about this book. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it came from. But all of a sudden, everybody and their mom is talking about this book and how they love this book. I first heard about it from Jess. She was reading it. She was like, this is my jam. I'm loving it. And I was just like, cool, I've never heard of it. And then other people were talking about how much they loved this. And I was just like, what is this? I had never heard of this thing a day in my life, and now it is here. She's cute. I'm just now realizing that they're dragons. They're dragons. That shows you that I had no idea what this was about. Fly or Die. I need to know what this is all about. I think I'm actually going to end up buddy reading this with Ray, maybe. But I'm excited. Anyway, that's me being super impressionable and buying anything. So I finished The Invisible Library, and I'm going to give this like a 4.25. It was a really fun time. I thought it was going to be like something more sinister and more mysterious, but it actually was a little bit fun. We had some skin suit action happening. We had some cyborg alligators. We had some giants in here. Had a fantastic time. It was light and still mysterious and giving you like, well, what's going to happen next? Who has the mysterious book that they have been sent to this alternate world to look for? I wanted to know who had the book, where did it go, why were they sent back to retrieve this one particular book? And you get the answers to all of that in this book. And I was so glad because I was like, if we end on a cliffhanger, I might be a little upset. But we didn't. But it was intriguing enough that I want to continue on to the next book in the series. And so here we are, continuing on, starting another series. And then the last book that I had was Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. It's my first Zora Neale Hurston, and I was very glad that I picked this up. This is the story of Janie. She was raised by her grandmother, Nanny, and Nanny just wants the best for Janie. She's just trying to, get her to grow up and live her best life. So she wants Janie to be protected and cared for. And to her, that means somebody that is going to be financially responsible for Janie and just, take care of her. That she'll always have a roof over her head and food to eat. Now, none of that includes love. But Janie, she's on a journey of self-discovery, trying to figure out who she is as a woman, as a person, also having this desire to want to experience love. And so she gets with her first husband, which is not a love match at all. And things happen. She meets some other people and things happen. And then she meets the love of her life. And what happens with them is both beautiful and heartbreaking. The ending kind of comes full circle where it's almost like she is her own person. She has found who she is. The journey of her getting there is just beautiful to watch. The writing in here, in the beginning, it took me a second to get used to the prose, but it's really just prose and the way that she wrote the Southern dialect. But I appreciate it because it's very true to the time period, to the place. And I thought once you get into it and you're like getting into the conversations, you get your groove. We're at a 3.75 because while I really enjoyed this, it was heartbreaking. It was beautifully written. There were some moments where I thought it was just very slow and just I feel like it didn't necessarily serve anything for this particular story. Janie, I think she was a very interesting character to get to know and to grow with. Once I got it going, I was really into it. I could have gone for a longer book, even though there were some parts that were a little slow feeling. Like maybe if they had just been fleshed out a little bit more or made a bigger connection to the overall story for me, maybe it would have been different. I don't know. A 3.75 seems fitting. Maybe a 4. You know, we'll know later. But that was my entire May TBR, all wrapped up and pretty and a little bow. So what did I read? So I read Their Eyes Were Watching God, fantastic time. The Invisible Library, also a fantastic time. Whimsical, fun, fantastical. I read Wahala. I should have listened to Jashana. But no, I wanted to find out for myself. And that is always my downfall, my curiosity for just mess. I mean, I enjoyed the mess as I was reading it, but the women were insufferable. The ending, super unsatisfying. I'm so mad about it. And then what was the other one I read? Oh, Beach Read. Wow, Beach Read feels like so long ago. But again, something else that I enjoyed. Will I be reading more Emily Henry? Yes, you betcha I will. But that is my TBR for May. Before I go, tell me, have you guys read any of these books? Did you agree or disagree with how I felt about them? If you've read Wahala, let me know. Did you enjoy it? I'm really curious. You can talk about it down in the comments below. What are you currently reading? I just want to know that because I'm nosy and I'm interested in knowing what you guys are reading. And until next time, bye.